everybody. Homestar Runner. Let's see if that's even still around. Hey everybody, it's Mike Meyers. Welcome to it is Monday, right? Welcome to the Monday edition of Ask Mike Anything. Homestar Runner is still in existence. Does anybody know what Homestar Runner is? Here, I'm going to put this up on the screen. See if anybody else even at least recognizes Homestar. That's homestarrunner.com. It was all Java-based back in the old days. It was great. Looks like it's slowed down a little bit. Any links in here? A couple of games and everything. Yeah. Anyway, that's Homestar Runner. One of the funniest websites, probably 15 years old now, but I always thought it was a lot of fun. Just checking your mic. Oh, gotta put the mic on. Thank goodness for Dave Rush. Can you hear me meow? Is that a little bit better? There we go. All right. Don't give me any trouble. I got it, Andre. I got it. I got my mic. I got my mic. I got my mic. Thanks, guys. Sorry. I swear to God, I should have you guys just send me text 30 seconds before I start. Put on your mic, Mike. So welcome once again to the Monday edition of Ask Mike Anything. Folks, the goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are studying CompTIA certifications an opportunity to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, moi, on any particular topic that you might want. It's been an interesting weekend. Spent a lot of it out on a boat, which was a lot of fun. I'm actually going to talk about firearms for a minute. Not because I don't know if you're anti or pro firearm. This is just still an amusing story. And I enjoy shooting pistols. I like to shoot at paper targets and put holes in them. It's a fun sport, and I find it challenging, and it gets me out and about. I enjoy it. Anyway, there are different calibers in guns, which is how big the bullets are. And for 25 years, I've had a .45 caliber pistol, which is a great little pistol, except for one problem. Ammunition is so expensive today that pretty much every time I pull the trigger, it's like 86 cents. 86 cents, 86 cents, 86 cents. So I went and got myself a 9mm, and I'm very excited because bullets are only about 32 cents. So it cost me about 1/3. Except the problem is I shoot it twice as much, so you do the math. But I got myself a new Glock 9mm pistol. I'm very happy about it. The other funny thing is I got a red dot sight. I don't know if you see they have these sights. It's not a laser pointer like you see in the movie where they got the suspect has the lights on. That's not that kind of thing. It's just a light in a little thing, and you can see through the light. And all of a sudden my target shooting went from holes this big to this big because I'm so much more accurate. So I'm pretty happy about that. Nicholas Eli, August 2003, passed the exam, became certified using Mike Meyers, 3rd edition book. Good Lord. Thank you, Mr. Mark. I'm Mike, but that's okay. Note the CD that came with this, it still works. Yeah, I've got those CDs laying around everywhere. Yeah, nobody... did my last system? Yeah, the last system I put together, it's the first time I finally said no more optical media drives. I know, isn't that crazy? I've gone that long. I just use them so much. Am I a liar? No, I guess the one before that didn't have optical media. It was hard for me to get off of optical media. I just found myself using it all the time. I liked it. And, I guess we're at a point now. So what I did do is I got a external SATA drive enclosure, 5 1/4 inch, and I put one of these super DVD, Blu-ray, CD, HD DVD drives in it. And if I ever need to now, I've got a stack. So I've got my floppy drive, 3.5, 5 1/4, optical media. They're all on external, all on USB. So if I ever need them again in the future, and I can't tell you, once or twice a year, I get a phone call from somebody like, Mike, I found these old floppies, but I don't know if I have any way to read them. And it becomes pretty handy. Yeah, I heard about Turkey. Do keep in mind that a lot of the folks who work with me now with National Cyber Group are Turkish folks, and from what I've heard, they're all okay. But yeah, it was 7.7 on the Richter scale. It was a bad little earthquake for sure. Southern coast, southern Anatolia. But it seems like everybody on our end is okay. There's a lot of noise going on right outside my door here. All right, well, if I go running away, folks, it's because it's like the whole world is right outside my door doing... Give me a second, guys. So do keep in mind that I'm literally 40 feet from the street here, if that. And if you listen carefully, you can actually hear some of the street noises. So every now and then I hear something out there and I'm like, what's going on? But we're okay. No big deal. Yeah, get off my lawn. You got that one right. But yeah, so got to go out. A friend of mine has a new boat, a 46-foot power boat. I'm more of a sailboat kind of guy, but I got to have some fun going out on that. That was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that. Basically doing nothing. It's one of these boats where it's got bow and stern thrusters, so you can basically spin it. It's very, very easy to control it. Yeah, I do the same thing with a sailboat. I did start some really, finally, after talking about this now for what, 4 months? I have started, not started, but already got fairly deep into a comparison of Type 2 hypervisors and which one I like the best. And you guys know I've been pushing VirtualBox primarily as a training tool. I like VirtualBox quite a bit, but I hadn't really given Hyper-V a shake in 3-4 years. And so I reinstalled Hyper-V on one of my systems, and I kind of liked it. It was stable. The way it interfaced. You got to remember, for me, when I'm talking about virtual machines, from a research or an instructional standpoint, there's only two things I'm interested in. Number one, does it allow me to manipulate the operating system in such a way that I can learn stuff? For example, being able to easily adjust graphics, using USB, being able to add more storage on an established virtual machine. And then the other thing is that how does it work within a network? In particular, I need flexibility when I have virtual machines. I want to get 4 or 5 virtual machines running on one computer and have them in their own little network. And then I want to take those 4 or 5 machines, and then I want to have them get bridged out to the internet through this computer. So that all of them they're in their own network, but they have like their own virtualized router kind of a thing. I want to be able to provide static IPs if necessary. So I've been using VirtualBox for so long simply because it has a lot of facility in terms of making it easy to mess with the way the network connects. You know, do I want to use DHC? Do I have a DHCP server? How would that virtualized DHCP server look? So like those 4 or 5 computers in their own little network, do I have a virtualized DHCP server where I could set up the right kind of a DHCP addresses? All these little things make a big difference for me when I'm talking about understanding virtual machines. And I really got hooked on VirtualBox mainly because I figured out how to use it so well, I wasn't super motivated to try anything else. So what I've decided to do is I want to try 2 more. And I'm really thinking in terms of really more like Type 2 hypervisors. So the other one I'm going to be working on is Hyper-V, which I've already got started on, and I've got some good research tools on that. We're going to have a great show on that one. And the other one is Linux's KVM. So I figure if I can do a VirtualBox versus Hyper-V versus KVM, which is going to be the cheap to / free Type 2 hypervisor options, that should be interesting. I don't... which one am I forgetting about? VMware. VMware has a Type 2 hypervisor, but you got to pay like 150 bucks for it. It has a player that you can use for free, but I can't do any manipulations with it. I'll probably go ahead and check that one out too. That is, VMware pretty much invented virtualization, and it has a lot of tools. It has some features that are really cool. Like with VMware, you could sit there and go, okay, take this hypervisor, take this remember, type 2 hypervisor. It's running on top of an operating system, got it? So with VMware, I could do stuff like, okay, make a copy of the computer I'm actually on, but put it in a virtual machine. VMware allows you to make copies of virtual machines mo better than other ones do, it seems. All of them do some kind of copying, but I want something that just basically goes, put it up and run. And it's hard to beat VMware on that one. But it's, so it's actually kind of fun as I'm playing with this. I'm going to do KVM, and I'm trying to do something on a Mac. The problem is I do not currently have an Apple computer. Yes, I could go to the store and buy one, but that seems an awfully expensive thing to do just to play with Parallels, which seems to be one of the more popular Apple hypervisor machines. So, we'll see. But do be aware that it's coming, guys. We will be, we're going to have a very, very interesting discussion. It was hard. I had another, a little bit older system, but it was surprisingly hard to get Hyper-V to work on it. It's a Windows 10 machine because I don't like Windows 11. I'm not going to upgrade until I absolutely have to. But it was an older Asus Republic of Gamers motherboard, and I was trying to get the virtualization to turn on, which usually you go into a system setup, it's not that complicated. But on this one, it was a real pain in the rear end. Finally got it, but it was a drill down to get to the turn the stupid thing on kind of a thing. Dave Rush is telling me we have a Mac that's available. I literally just called Michael Smyer. Wait, I thought he said, Michael Smyer's on. There you go. All right, we'll let him. Anyway, yeah, so if you got a spare Mac, I can make something appear. Brandon Kiley, VMware is worth a look. Brandon, we live on VMware at Total Seminars. It is our primary tool, but we use the Type 1 hypervisor, which is going to be a whole other level of conversation down the road. And we use ESX, which is the primary VMware Type 1 hypervisor, and love it. All of our main servers at Total Seminars now, including our Active Directory machines, are all on VMware. So I agree, brother. VMware is the way to go for heavy lifting. But you got to keep in mind, my goals for virtualization are different. So number one, I want people to learn about virtualization. And it's very difficult for most people to get a Type 1 hypervisor up and running, especially if they don't really know how it all works yet. They can do it, but it's tough. So I tend to lean on Type 2 hypervisors. The other thing is, on a Type 2 hypervisor, from an instructional standpoint, I want it to be as graphical as possible, which has got me worried about KVM. I'm worried that KVM is going to have a lot of setting up config files in the background. I don't know yet. I've got a Linux machine up and cooking, but I haven't installed KVM on it yet, so we'll find out this week. And I want something that can be robust enough that once you install it, you're not immediately tempted to uninstall it once you've learned whatever you're learning. And again, man, I got to tell you, VirtualBox really fits all those for Type 2 hypervisors, but we'll see. Rainbow Jesse 1246. Anyone know how to screen mirror an iPhone to a Samsung TV without an adapter? No. No, I got to be honest with you. What was your name again? I lost it. Rainbow Jesse. Rainbow. So Rainbow, this is actually kind of a good question. Do keep in mind, Rainbow, we have a Discord channel, the unofficial Mike Meyers Discord channel, and Dave Rush will put a link up to it. And this is a good kind of question to ask in the Discord channel. Do join our Discord channel. It's a lot of fun. While we're speaking about joining up stuff, guys, you need to be connected to me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the way we connect in today's society professionally, and at the very least follow me, but also feel free to connect with me. I don't care, either way is fine with me. But don't be afraid to connect with me on LinkedIn. That's, just look up Mike Meyers. I'm not that hard to find. I saw some questions coming in while I was chatting. Oh, guys, keep in mind, we do start at 2 o'clock, and we go till 3 o'clock or till the questions run out. Vegas Brent, what is ISC squared? It looks like they have certifications like CompTIA, but mainly in security area. What's your opinion of them? So, ISC squared, I got to say this right. So you know there's really only kind of like one CompTIA certification. The CompTIA A+ doesn't really have any real competitors out there, and that's fine. But once you start going into security certifications, you have about, arguably, 4 to 7 different organizations, all of which who are well respected, who all have their own certification paths. I'm not saying they do all exactly the same thing. Like Osaka is more about auditing. ISC squared is more about general security. But you have a number of different paths. And ISC squared is very respected, a little spendy, but an excellent path. Man, hey, Dave, that'd be another good talk. We haven't done that talk in a while. We're probably due for another one. It's like, all right, what are the security certification paths? And we should probably do something with it. I will tell you, Vegas Brent, it's good. There are other alternatives, and it's just a matter of personal choice, really, more than anything else. The downside is when you start picking one of these paths, they all have anywhere 4 to 7 to 8 certifications within their path. And it's not any fun from a money standpoint to go halfway up one and then suddenly realize, oh, I want to go with GIAC or ISACA or somebody else like that. And even CompTIA now with CYSA and CISM, CompTIA is starting to get a reputation as a security certification pathway as well. So that's half an answer. ISC squared is good. Vishal Kumar. Hello, Mike. I am 31. You're a little kid. I'm taking your classes from Udemy. Very good. I have no IT background. What suggestions do you have for me as a beginner? You know, I've had this question a few times. Dave, we should probably just record this one little piece. Let me give somebody who wants to be in IT. You ready? Question number 1 is why? Why are you going into IT? Did somebody tell you it's cool? Are you already playing with technology? Do you mess with your phone? Do you go into developer mode on web browsers? Have you started pulling your own cable? Have you thought about building your own systems? Everybody I know who's been successful in IT, when they were a beginner, they already weren't just a beginner. They had already started to do stuff on their own. They tried installing operating systems or upgrading at the very least, or tried installing different kinds of anti-malware tools, or started messing with cheap routers and switches, or bought some old computers and played with them on the side. So that'd be the first thing I'd say is the only reason to get in IT is because you have a passion for it. That's number 1. The second thing is how do you want to get in? So you're going to have some form of education. If you can go and get a 4-year degree, if you don't have one already, go get one. It helps. You pretty much have to have a 4-year degree in IT if you want to get into management. I'm not going to say it's required. People do it all the time. I do not have a 4-year degree, but it's a much easier path. Number 2, look towards going to a tech school. Here in the United States, we have 2-year schools or technical schools. And these schools, assuming that they have good placement programs for their graduates, are a great way to get you jump-started into IT. Number 3, start taking certifications. The 3 main certifications that everybody seems to begin with are the CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. I do not work for CompTIA. I'm a trainer for CompTIA products because I believe in those products, but that seems to be where most people start out. The nice thing about taking those 3 certifications is it begins to give you an idea of what you want to do. The world of IT is vast. You want to pull cables, or do you want to build websites? You see where I'm coming from? Do you want to be a cloud expert? Do you want to work on routers? Do you want to do network administration in Windows, network administration in Linux, network administration in Linux and Windows? You see where I'm coming from? So there is no single path I could tell you, but other than that, follow your passions. And from there, you're okay. So you're 31 years old, which tells me that you've done something in your life, and what you've done in your life is going to help you move forward in your career. I can't tell you how many people I've been, it's like, oh, I hate doing truck maintenance, so I'm going to get in IT. And it's like you have to throw away your entire previous career. That's ridiculous. You take the knowledge that you've had already and you stay in that industry, but you do the IT part of it. I've seen this happen a million times where a person used to work in a fleet maintenance shop for big semi-trailers. Now he's doing software development and sales for companies who need truck maintenance software and is making a mint. So always remember that as well. So hopefully that'll give you a start. Vishal, the other thing you got to think about a lot here is, what do you want to do? You know, think about, there's so much to do in the world of IT. You're going to have to start making some decisions. Usually when someone says to me, Mike, I'm getting started in IT at a late age, my first question is, just like I started with, was, why? There has to be something that's burning within you that makes you want to do it. So we'll see. Yeah, Dave, let's save that little piece. All right. Omar, Ring. I'd like to say thank you, Mike. Okay, you're very welcome. I passed all the main certs. Are you talking about the A+, Net Plus, Security Plus? With your A+, okay. I've recently passed the CCNA. What do you recommend next cert-wise? Omar, again, at this point in your life, you need to be kind of knowing where you want to go. So you've taken a CCNA. Are you looking to get into router configuration? I know everybody talks about cybersecurity today. Cybersecurity. I do too. Cybersecurity is kind of hot right now. But every aspect of IT is still hot. They still need router configurers. Maybe Omar, have you got to try to play in the cloud yet? Go set up a free account on Amazon Web Services. Go over to AWS and spin up a couple of cloud servers and see if that's of interest to you. So I can't tell you what to do next, Omar. What I can ask you to do, and again, I say this over and over, and I wish people would start listening to me. What do you want to do? Where's your passion? What's exciting for you? That's going to be the right answer. Andre, this is going back a little bit. Does it allow me to adapt, change hardware for the VMs, make the VM run on Intel while running an AMD Ryzen? Andre, I'm not aware that any Type 2 hypervisor will differentiate between different forms of x86 processors. So that would not be within my experience. Usually they just talk about a processor. If you want to get a little bit hairier, you probably need to go into a cloud type solution, which might allow you, and I don't even think in a cloud it would allow you to choose different processors, well, different brand names of processors. It would allow you to pick the relative power. And as Dave Rush always says, hit that like button. Smash that like button. Whenever you guys see me do this, I'm just looking for questions. Brandon Kiley. VMware has a bunch of robust options. It really does. I played with vSphere as well. They are, and again, Brandon, you hit the nail on the head. They can get very complex for beginners. And keep in mind, my goal I'm never going to be needing to configure enterprise level Type 1 hypervisors. I'll do it from time to time for fun, but remember, training, understanding basic tools of virtualization, being able to work with different operating systems, and configurability on networks. That's about the only thing I'm interested in. Krampus, man, I haven't seen you for a while. Yes, thank you for reminding me, Dave. Do keep in mind that Cybernow Labs is going to be having their next info session. This will be tomorrow. The next info session, I'm sorry, is Saturday. Saturday? Okay, I'm going to go with whatever Dave says. Folks, if you've ever been looking to accelerate your career, you really need to take a look at Cybernow Labs. It's a very impressive product. I liked it so much, I invested in it. And they take people with little to no experience and turn them into SOC analysts making high 80s, $1,000 a year, health plan, the whole shebang. Give them 6 months and they'll give you a new career. It is an amazing program, but the best way to do is check out that link, register for our next info session, and go in there, watch. Our CEO, Gabe, does the presentations. He does an amazing job, and he's good looking too, which doesn't hurt. And see if it's for you. I got to warn people, every time I tell people about Cybernow Labs program, number one, the retail price is $6,800, okay? So, yeah, they have payment plans and stuff, but no, they don't have loans, all right? I wouldn't work with them if they had loans. But they have payment plans, and if you keep your grades up, for example, they'll pause your payments until you get a job. They have a lot of things they do to help you out. But it's a great program, but it is very hard work. And we had Edgar Salinas on 2 weeks ago. He talked about that quite a bit. We got a link for him here at Total Seminars channel. And we have more folks coming up, and you definitely need to check it out. Vlad, hello. I'm in the 9th grade, and I started reading your book about CompTIA A+. Can I get my certification in the 10th grade? Yeah, Vlad, we've had people as young as 12 years old get the certification. There is no age criteria for the certification. So Bishal, again, you're asking me questions. This is very difficult for me to answer. Thank you so much for your suggestion. I have a security background working in a data center, okay? If you have a security background working in a data center, then you should probably take a look at a boot camp like Cybernow Labs, which will get you, got to keep in mind, Cybernow Labs does two things. Number one, they don't really care about certifications that much. They want you to get a Security Plus certification. But other than that, they really sit there and have you work the tools. And you will use in a real SOC, and you can do this from home, you actually work on a SOC, Security Operations Center. And if you already have security knowledge, then that could be a very, very good way to work. Bishal, there's so much demand for people who are in cybersecurity right now. I got a drinking problem, sorry. I'm almost surprised you're looking to me for questions. Bishal, just go on LinkedIn and see how many jobs are out there right now. There's zillions of them. Here, Bishal, let me do you a favor real quick. Wait a minute. Bishal, this is for you, man. Wait, I'm not doing this right. Hang on. Oh, I'm out of practice. Yeah, I had it right. There we go. So, Bishal, send me an email. I'm michaelm@totalsem.com. And give me more details about what you're doing and what you're looking for. And I can give you a hand there. So that's michaelm@totalsem.com, Bishal. And let's see if maybe I can help you come up to some better career decisions. Or not saying better. I'm sure you have good ones. Just I can give you my opinion. Andre, can you make a VirtualBox VM think you're using an Intel CPU when in fact you're running an AMD? I know you can because I have gotten macOS work. All right. Andre has a question that I don't have a quick answer to. So in my experience working with VirtualBox, let's take a look together. So this is, oh, that's going to be so tiny on your all screens. Well, let's try it anyway. So I'm going to set up a new system. I'm not actually going to go through the whole thing. Let's go with other. So I'm just picking some arbitrary amount of memory. Go under settings under this system. Under processor. Yeah, so I'm taking a look right now under the processor for VirtualBox, and I don't see where it allows me to do, say, AMD versus Intel. I mean, it's all i86. And really, it's going to be based on what your processor is. It's like here, even stuff like enable nested VT and oh wow, that's actually interesting. Enabled nested virtualization. So this is the Intel virtualization and the AMD virtualization. Does it tell me I can run a virtual machine in a virtual machine? I may have to play with that. That's kind of interesting. But you see what I'm saying here, Andre? I don't see anything that says AMD versus anything else. Also keep in mind, Andre, is that virtualization isn't an emulator. So if I'm running a hypervisor, I cannot run an ARM processor unless I have an ARM processor. I can't run an x86 processor unless I have an x86 processor. So, Andre, you and I might want to take this off channel, and you could maybe you know something I don't know. I would like to see that. That'd be really cool. Everybody's talking to me. Yeah, but Andre, let's make a point to talk about that, just you and me. That would be interesting. Chandler Friedman, huge fan, thanks. But are you really that big, Chandler? Come on. You helped me with my A+, and now working towards Net+. Weird question. What was the deal with green microscope Easter egg in your A+ training? Green? Chandler, I put so many Easter eggs in there, and not only do I put Easter eggs in them, a lot of times the camera crew, who are all pretty technical people, they're having fun, and then we have the developmental people who are having fun. So a lot of times Easter eggs get put in that I may not know what they are. I'll tell you what, Chandler, send me an email, and we can talk about, I need to know exactly like which session was it on, give me a time stamp, and then I could look at it and give you a better answer. But Chandler, I'm sorry, I don't have an instant answer. Also, do keep in mind, folks, that we have, as always, amazing deals. Just because you're nice enough to show up, remember, I tell people you need 3 things to pass any form of certification. Number 1, you need some form of instruction, which is either going to be instructor-led or it's going to be video. Number 2, you need reference, which is a book. And number 3, you need some way to test your skills, which is practice questions. So what we're providing, just because you're nice enough to show up today, we have a 50% deal. Let's say you're interested in taking Network Plus. All you have to do is head over to www.totalsem, that's TOTALSEM, totalsem.com, and head over to our merchant area and grab, you ready, the Network Plus ebook. You have to get an ebook, and you also get practice questions, which we call our Total Tester. That's the name of our practice questions. So you put the Network Plus ebook and the Network Plus Total Tester into your cart, and just before you check out, type in the code KID, K-I-D, and you get half off. It's an absolutely amazing deal. Take advantage of it. Now keep in mind, folks, I just said Network Plus. It works for any of our bundled products. A+, Net Plus, Security Plus, CYSA, Pentest Plus, AWS. Malibu 8800. I have the trifecta and a secret clearance, but no IT experience. Can I get a job working from home? Yeah, but it's not going to be easy. First of all, if you have a secret clearance, you're not going to be working from home. people with, and I don't know what you mean by a secret clearance. There's so many, I don't, is this a United States clearance? Is it DOD or DOJ? Is it a secret or is it a top secret? I mean, there's a lot of questions involved there. That secret clearance is not, you won't work from home. I'm sure there's 5 jobs in the United States that do allow it. I know nothing of those. Of course, the next thing, I'm not going to get into a big deal on this, but why do you want to work from home? I hate people that, look, if you have to work from home, if you're handicapped or, something like that, I understand these things. But I think working from home, 3 years ago, none of us did that, remember? But the answer is you can, but you're going to have to work hard to get that. You're going to have to put out a minimum of 100 resumes. I guarantee it. And you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to hit it hard. And, you've got to be using primarily LinkedIn as a great resource for that. We've got a ton of videos right here in the Total Seminars channel where we've talked about how to generate resumes, talking about what are the websites to put that stuff out to. There are tons of entry-level jobs out there. You just got to find the right one for you. So the answer is yes, but you're going to have to work hard to do that. You absolutely can. Oh, Dave Rush, clearancejobs.com. I've actually never looked at this. Yeah, but they're, okay. Huh, interesting. Thanks, Dave. I didn't know about that website. Vegas Brand A+. Whatever happened to your fart gun? Still got it. Still farting. Drink a little more of this Dr. Pepper. We'll go all natural on that one. This is Tripotamus. Just finished reading your chapter on power supplies. Very clear and informative. I love the straightforward deconstruction of the writing. That's my whole goal. I hope the A+ cert doesn't want specific wattages. Make sure you understand that most of Europe is 220/240 and US is 110/120. You're going to be fine. Chandler Freeman. One other. As a career changer, what would you suggest to land the first gig in InfoSec, apart from working towards the trifecta? Okay, well, Chandler, we kind of just mentioned that a little bit. Remember, there's 4 ways to go, right? So you never, in no way in IT do you collect X number of certifications. You get one certification at a time, and each certification, you're taking that to get a job. With the exception of your first certification, every other certification you're studying for, it's on the nights and weekends because you're already working. So what would I suggest is, Chandler, take a look at things like Cybernow Labs program. Register for their info session this Saturday. Tell them I sent you. And that would be one thing to do. Take a look on LinkedIn.com. There's a bazillion jobs out there. It's ridiculous, the number of jobs. But I would not, to me, the first gig in InfoSec is different than going for the trifecta. You can, and Cybernow Labs does it. I'm not a big fan of this, but they do it. They do it pretty good. They use my training materials. Is they do go through and generate people who go straight to the Security Plus. No A+ or Net Plus at all. Not a huge fan, but it gets them there. And knowing what a SOC analyst does, I can see where it comes from. But the trifecta is really more for people who don't know where they want to go or where they want to be. If you say you want to be in information security, which is great, you need to take a look at programs like that or start applying now. There are lots of entry-level jobs out there. You just got to dig. Blue Lantern, what's the best way to find out if you've been infected with a keylogger? Well, number 1, use quality anti-malware. I see everybody wants me to tell them what anti-malware to use. I won't do that. They're all pretty good, and I go back and forth. The other thing is keep in mind, the most nefarious and most dangerous keyloggers are hardware-based, And taking a look at your computer might be a real good clue. I'm curious why you think you've been infected with a keylogger, you know? You think somebody installed something? Are we talking about a desktop machine or a laptop machine or a smartphone? Things vary a lot, Blue Lantern, depending on what you're talking about there. So keep in mind, no, Chandler, like fair enough, a lot of the postings require experience. If the job says entry level and they say experience, they're saying experience to scare away the cowards. Now, you don't want to go for a job that's, you know, where it requires experience. These are entry-level jobs. They say the word entry-level, introductory, tier 1. All of these words come into play. And these jobs tend to be more challenging jobs, which you got to get out there, you got to work. But people who are dependable, people with integrity, people with good work ethics get these jobs very easily. So you got to send out, if you don't send out 100 resumes, you're not doing enough. 200 is not uncommon. Remember, getting a job is a job. All right. All right, guys, do we have any other questions real quick? All right, so Dave Rush is telling me that Andre is right about this. Ah, okay. Use good, Blue Lantern, use good anti-malware tools. Any of them are fine. They're all pretty much the same in my opinion, so I'm not going to pick one. Cool. All right, guys, last chance. Any other questions coming up? All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and bail here today. Keep in mind, I will not be on this Wednesday. Remember, it's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Steve Nicholson is going to be acting as guest host. Steve Nicholson is the guy who's taking over for me as the face of A+. Yeah, I'm always going to be around, guys, but I'm getting old, and I like to sit around and, you know, drink. So Steve has been taking on. He's absolutely fantastic. Check him out. Folks, if I ask you to get a hold of me, Dave Rush just put my email addresses on there. So use the Michael M at TotalSem.com. The other one works just fine. But do give me a holler. So until then, I'm out the door here, folks. This is Mike Meyers. I will see you back next week, and hopefully I'll have KVM running by then, and we'll have a very, very interesting Type 2 hypervisor discussion. Andre, I'm going to check out what you were talking about on Intel versus AMD. All right, folks, I'm out the door. This is your Uncle Mike saying bye-bye. I'll see you guys next week.